뉴욕타임즈 이 금요일 날이 되면은 이 well이라는 면이 나오는데 한 면에 이 사람의 건강, 복지 이런 거에 관한 기사인데 이거를 좀 자세히 따로 읽겠습니다. Well, Friday, December 29th, 2023. It is short and intense the better. A few lucky people find a fitness routine they love and stick to it. But many of us simply want to get our workout over with as quickly as possible. For those in the latter camp, it's hard to resist headlines claiming we can get in shape in 5 minutes or less per day. Such a thing seems too good to be true, but an emerging body of research suggests these micro workout, a few 20-second round of stair climbing, 4-second sprints on an exercise bike, or 2 minutes of dashing to catch the bus can improve fitness, prevent disease, and extend one's life. These activities are easier to slip into your schedule than the recommended 150 minutes of moderate weekly exercise, or 75 if you make it vigorous by running, for instance. However, some scientists say such micro workout, also called exercise snacks, are oversold, and even those who tout their benefits say claims that they are as good as or better than more traditional workouts that go too far. What's the evidence? The concept built on more than 2 decades of research into HIIT, or high-intensity interval training. HIIT involve a series of nearly all-out efforts, usually 20 to 60 seconds long, interspersed with a short rest, and then repeated again and again. Some studies suggested that HIIT workout deliver many of the same benefits as steady, moderate intensity exercise, including improved aerobic fitness and blood vessel function in less time. So researchers wondered if just a few hard intervals scattered throughout the day would be effective too. Might the brief hours of activity still have benefits with hours of rest in between rather than seconds? So far, small lab studies have suggested micro workout can move the needle on some health measures. In one typical example, 12 young adults who didn't otherwise exercise dashed up 3 flights of stairs, 60 steps, 3 times a day, 3 days a week. After 6 weeks, their aerobic fitness, as measured by oxygen intake, had improved by 5%. This is about what you'd expect from 3 days of brisk walking for 30 minutes each week, said Jonathan, the lead author of the study and professor at the University of British Columbia. Another study of more than 25,000 British adults found that as little as 1 to 2 minutes of vigorous movement 3 times a day was associated with a roughly 40% lower risk of dying and about 50% lower risk of dying of cardiovascular disease compared to people who did not complete vigorous activity. But observational studies like this cannot prove cause and effect, and that benefits is less robust than you would expect for those meeting government exercise guideline. Still, done regularly and safety, such a brief burst might be a meaningful start for otherwise sedentary people, said Emmanuel, a professor at the University of Sydney and the study's lead author. Is there room for doubt? Exercise makes us fitter and healthier by putting stress on our muscle and the cardiovascular system, which then grows stronger and more efficient, said Dr. Philip, an exercise psychologist and physician in Parker Ridge, Illinois. Minutes per minute, intense efforts stimulate muscles more than moderate workout, but bursts as short as 20 seconds are unlikely to create major health improvement, he said. In fact, even the benefits of HIIT may be inflated, said P., a professor of exercise psychology at Michigan State University. Most lab studies are short, but intense efforts are small, limiting their statistical power. Outside the lab, wrist-worn activity monitors allow for studies of larger groups of people, but may not accurately capture factors like intensity, especially for short periods. Plus, older studies suggest that intense intervals are safe even for people in cardiac rehab. Strenuous exercise can, in some cases, raise the risk of certain heart problems. So, it's wise to check with your doctor first if you have a history of cardiac issues. The bottom line: intense burst of efforts for 5 minutes or less one or more times per day probably do provide some benefit, especially if you truly don't have any other time to exercise or if you spend long stretches glued to your chair. More research currently underway will determine the optimal dose, how many bursts you need, and how long and hard they should be to produce meaningful changes in your health, Dr. L said. However, decades of studies with many thousands of participants more clearly supported the health benefit of racking up around 150 minutes of moderate activity or 75 minutes of vigorous movement per week. So, what you shouldn't do is replace another type of exercise habit, especially one you enjoy, with a micro workout. That would be a real risk based on what we currently know, Dr. S said.